Hi, this is George from Upfish, your marketing automation expert, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to use trending topic on LinkedIn to generate text posts, image posts, and carousel posts so that you're always generating new content in new formats with new visuals. Now, the reason for this that I've made it's for people who are specifically just getting started. So maybe you're a solopreneur and you've just started, trying to create a social media presence. Because a lot of the problems that people run into is, the automations they make for agencies or SaaS companies is they've already got a content vault to pull on. They've got videos, just like I do when I make these YouTube videos. I can make content out of this. It's stuff I'm creating. Or they've got a team of marketeers making blogs, or they've got, years and years and years of experience in a particular niche, which means that it's very easy for them to generate content. But if you're just getting started, what are you going to do? With that in mind, I made this specifically for that use case. People who are just getting started and they want to start filling up their LinkedIn with interesting content. So basically what this is going to do, it's going to take those AI-generated articles you see on LinkedIn. You see them all the time for LinkedIn Top Voice, like, what do you think about this boring blah, 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 blah. It's going to take that information and then it's basically going to randomize it. So one day it might make a text post. So it will create a post on the subject or one of the subtopics in that article, and then create some copy for it for your LinkedIn. Another day, it might randomly create an image. So using a template that you've created to make it look professional, we'll overlay some text, create a social media post and post that. So, you're mixing up media-wise. And then another day at random, it will create a carousel post. So it will create a PDF, and again, with some social media copies. So this way, it's not just text post, text post, text post. You're mixing it up a little bit, which hopefully makes it a little bit more effective. So where does this start? So this starts with basically an Airtable record, and all this is doing is it's looking for a URL. So I won't bother showing you the Airtable. All it's doing is looking for something called LinkedIn advice. I guess I will show you the Airtable actually. Okay, so I have this Airtable set up that pulls information from various places, and one of them is LinkedIn advice. So I just put in a link basically. If I click on this link here, you're going to see here, I've made a Google search, site:/https linkedin.com/advice, and then automation and marketing. And then I've set up the results for the last 24 hours. So it shows me the most recent AI topics that LinkedIn thinks is trending to do with marketing and automation. So what happens is I have that in my Airtable, so that basically how often I run this, I recommend you run this on like a Monday and a Thursday. So it's not every day. It gives you time to post organic stuff to build up your own expertise. But for those days when you got nothing, just, Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever, something will get posted. But basically, this is what happens. It takes the Airtable, makes a search, finds that link. Once it has the link, it comes into a HTTP module where we're just basically getting all of the various results from that link. So again, if I come back to this Google search, I've got all of these links here. So what this will do is it will just collect them all. Okay, here, so you see that it will collect all the data, it gives me the HTML information of all of these links. So then we have a text parser that basically looks for the actual hyperlinks for this stuff, so the LinkedIn.com advice stuff. And then it goes, provided that those links exist, then it goes to another HTTP module where it is searching for these links. So let me just unlink it from here, and I'll run this module once to show you the first half of the flow. So it grabs the LinkedIn link, it grabs the Google search link, then it looks for the individual links here. So I've got one here for overwhelmed marketing tasks, personalized content scalability, transitioning careers. It analyzes the LinkedIn pages, and then basically it shortens them down. I have a little filter here because I don't need all 10. Every day I just need one. So I put a numeric operator filter here is equal to 1, so it just gets the first result. It grabs me a shortened HTML to text, so I just get basically the text version of what's on the website. And then after that, it comes through here to a variable where basically I'm saying, create a random number for me. So I do a round number of a random times 2. So this is going to give me either 0, 1, or 2. Make sure my fingers, 0, 1, or 2 in the variable fields. Okay. So then based on what happens here, one of three things can happen. If this random number is equal to 0, it will come into this branch. If the random number is equal to 1, it comes into this image branch. And if the random number is equal to 2, then it comes into the carousel branch. I hope I said those numbers properly. 0, 1, and 2. So we see here, if I zoom in a little bit, 1 branch, 0 for text, 1 for images, and 2 for carousel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this once, and hopefully it will pick one of these branches, and then I'll go through it each in time. So here we can see that my random number has generated the number 1, which means it's passed through the image function. So during my weekly thing, this will just randomly generate me an image post to put on LinkedIn. So what happens next? It comes back into my Airtable where I have a tab set up for templates. So within CreatorMate, I've created just random image templates. These aren't very good templates because I'm not a designer. Basically, what this will ensure is that I will have something that looks a little bit more professional. I'll show you exactly what it looks like. Basically, I just go into CreatorMate, I create a one-on-one image, I put over some basic shapes, some colors, some fonts, and then I put in some variable fields, and then I just grab the template ID. So once it has that template ID, basically it will look here, my Airtable, searching for anything that matches that one-on-one image, so that LinkedIn format size. So it goes to types, one-on-one image, and as you can see here, it's collected all 6 of the different bundles. But I just want 1 because this is meant to be randomized. So rather than just the same image aesthetic every single time, it's going to pick one of these 6 random ones. Okay. So to get a random image, I take these 6 bundles and I put it into an array aggregator where I just basically collect these 6 bundles and turn it into one large array. And then I run it through an iterator. In this iterator, I use the shuffle function just to mix up the order. So here, image template 5 is the first one that comes out. And then I just run it through a filter where the condition is the bundle order position is equal to 1. So out of these 6 templates I have, it's picked number 5 to be the one at random that we will use. And then we come into OpenAI. So at this point, I have a template and I have a web page from this LinkedIn advice stuff. So I just have a very simple prompt here. Obviously, anybody replicating this, you're going to want to really nail down the prompt to make it much better and more appropriate for you and what you do. But my simple prompt here is a web page from LinkedIn asking for advice surrounding a current hot topic issue. I would like you to sort through the information and create me one social media post that will attract engagement with my, I put Instagram profile here. This should be LinkedIn profile. I'll update that now. In addition to the social media copy for LinkedIn, I need a 3 or 4 word title to overlay on an image. I also need a prompt for DALL-E to create an image that summarizes the social media post. Then I put in the link to the text from my sort in HTML module. And I say output the information as a JSON with the following structure. Social media post copy, my 3 or 4 word title overlay for the photo, and the DALL-E prompt. And then I tell it to use hashtags, make it short and conversational in plain English. And then I tell it to output the response as a JSON. Okay. So once I have this information here, it comes into the JSON string. So now, again, I forgot to update my prompt. So this is for Instagram, but basically exactly the same for LinkedIn. So I get a social media prompt, feeling overwhelmed with marketing costs. The key to peak efficiency is blah, 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 blah. It gives me an overlay for the image that I'm creating and a DALL-E prompt to create that image. All right, so after this, it comes into a generate an image where I just basically map that DALL-E prompt from the JSON. So we see here, it's given it the prompts and it's provided some data with a URL. And it's probably a very, very horrible URL. So if I just open this up now, this is the image it has generated. And it is not good. And you see this a lot on LinkedIn, but I have to always question what is the point. People do a lot of automations and use a lot of tools just because they can and because it's cool to do. Who doesn't want to use AI to generate an image? But imagine the point of this is that you are posting on LinkedIn to make yourself look professional and credible. If you post this, if a potential client sees this in your feed, you will not look professional or credible. And this is why we use a template. So I mentioned the templates earlier. I'm just going to pop into CreatorMate here. It says I need to check my inbox. CreatorMate is brilliant because it's just basically image generation through API. So I've created these templates, as I mentioned. Here is a very bad example of one. Basically, what I have here is a text. So this is a dynamic text which will change each time. If you remember from my prompt, I'm asking it to provide me with 3 or 4 word overlay. So this will go here. And in the background here, this is also dynamic. So this will be replaced with the DALL-E image. So again, if you can imagine this image, run over the background here in the black. So I've got my nice little yellow overlay, my nice little yellow, I guess orange, I don't know what color this is, rectangle over the top, plus some text. Here's another one where I have some sort of a shape, white writing. So this is also dynamic. Here is a test. This will be replaced with whatever the title is. And then the white image in the background, the white background will be replaced with an image. So this isn't perfect because I am not a designer. If you are doing this, spend a lot more time than I did making these templates. I made these templates just for demonstrative purposes, but the idea here is that by creating multiple templates, that all have the same kind of color scheme, the same kind of elements, but with a few variable fields, basically a title and an image in the background, you can start creating images which look original, but still look professional, and it won't be the same every time. By creating multiple templates, it's not just this image with a different background each time. It'll be different backgrounds with different overlays, different text. So it starts to create this idea of a cohesive branding for you personally, while at the same time making it look like you've spent a bit more time creating an image than just going into DALL-E and getting this bullshit. So if I come back into my diagram here, it's got the prompt, it's got the URL. I've got a tool here to sleep, just because I don't know how long it takes for this URL to render. And then we make a call to CreatorMate. So within CreatorMate, I just say request content. I have the template ID. So this is a variable field mapped from what we got in the iterator here. Remember I put the template IDs. So again, if I come into, you can't see it here because my URL is not in the screen. The template ID is here. So I just copy that into my Airtable here as a template ID, and then I, separate the types, whether it's an image or a video. So I come back into the make. So this template ID, it gets added into the a variable field here. And then the modifications. So the background, I map in the DALL-E URL, so it changes every time. And then for the title text, I map it to the JSON parser here for the free or forward overlay. So then it creates this image. Okay, so I can grab my provided API key is invalid. Forgot to put in my API key. Let me run this again. But basically, I think I have in previous example. Here we go. This is the kind of thing it will look like. Again, it's going to look better than just a DALL-E prompt on it, but it's not going to look amazing because, again, I'm not a designer, so please take the time to build your own good templates. But it will be something like this. You get the image in the background and then your overlay, and then the title of it changes every time. So once again, I feel like I'm saying this a lot. This doesn't look impressive. Obviously, it's more impressive than just the image, but that is because I did not take a lot of time making a good template. Again, you scroll through LinkedIn, you'll get a lot of inspiration on how to make good templates and what kind of elements you need. But this is the general idea. What we're doing is we're creating dynamic images. So that would be what happens. So I'll come back in and I'll add in my API key to the CreatorMate the next time I run it. Okay, well the API key's not here, so I can show you the whole thing. So again, this is just the basic call, template ID, background, text. It generates the image, and then it just creates something in Airtable. So I have the name of the thing I'm creating here. I have the social media copy mapped, so what it creates. I have the original input, so the link from the LinkedIn advice, so I can double check it. And then I have the media URL it's created, which would normally be here if I put in the right API key. And then also can create the file using the file URL and the file name. So that all gets added into the Airtable. So then in any Airtable I have, just imagine this is a better version than what I have. You get this, you get something like here, you can just check every day. So I got one here, social output for marketing automation, feeling overwhelmed. Here's the copy. Here's there would be a URL here and a file here. So I could just grab the file, grab the URL, grab the content, add it to LinkedIn, mark it as done. Now that would be for images. All right, so let me just disable this route. And now let's see what happens if I try running this again. Hopefully we'll get a random number which puts it into text or carousel. Okay, so this time it's run and the random number is 0. So it's instead triggered the text branch. So again, very similar to what we have. Basically just an AI prompt to say, here is a web page from LinkedIn asking for advice on a topic. We map in the HTML data, the HTML to text module information, and then it's just a simple instruction. I like to keep in mind my expertise is in marketing and making marketing and sales automations. Pick a controversial area, turn it into a LinkedIn post. I give it an example of the structure for the output, so social media post followed by text. Use hashtags, make it short and conversational. Response format JSON object. Again, so this gives me information like this. In today's marketing, high-value tasks like lead scoring efficiency is too important to automate. It goes to the JSON parser just to turn it into a field, and then creates an Airtable record where, again, I just add in the social media copy, the original input. So here I have the most recent one. I have the text, and I have the original input if I want to double check it or change anything. And so when I want to post, I can just pop in, make any changes, copy, put it into LinkedIn, easy peasy. All right, and now the final stage is the carousel post. So I will disable this route here, and then hopefully the get. You know what? I'm just going to replace this with variable number equals 2. just copy this so I can change it back again. So now what will happen is it will go through the carousel one. So now we see the process starts as normal. We're getting the LinkedIn Google link, then we're getting the LinkedIn information for the advice page. Here I've set the random number to always generate 2, just so that I don't have to keep on pressing run once, but I'll move it back. But let's just say, okay, now the random number it picked is the number that correlates to the carousel post. What happens next? Well, what happens next is it goes into another random number generator. This time it's generating a random number between 0 and 1. And the reason is exactly the same as the image templates is I don't want to use the same template every single time. It's important for me that there's some variations so that it just looks aesthetically nicer. Unlike with CreatorMate though, whereas again in CreatorMate I can just I can map the template ID. Here in Google Slides, I can only choose by a drop down. Well, I can choose by mapping, so I could grab my template ID, but then I lose all the variable fields in the module, which makes things a lot harder. So here, what I would recommend is I would just duplicate this whole branch for as many templates you have. So just to take a step back, what happens is it chooses one of these templates I have. So again, we have this filter here, which basically just says if the random number 0 or 1. In this case, it was 1. It comes into ChatGPT, where just like all of the other ChatGPT modules, I'm giving it a very basic instruction. Here's the web page from LinkedIn. Here's the page. Create me a LinkedIn carousel post. This is an example of the output format. My social media post copy to support the carousel post. Carousel title, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5. The JSON parser parses that, and then it adds it over my template. So what is the template? So within Google Slides, what I do is I create a slide. Do I have an example here? Here is again, I'm not a designer. I did this so quickly and I've never used it again, just for the example of an automation. But this is what you do. You just create as you would any kind of slideshow. I've changed the dimensions of it to reflect the dimensions of a LinkedIn post. So you see here that it's sort of more portraity than landscape. And then on each page, within these double curly brackets, I put in the variable text. So this one here, double curly brackets, here is some text for a title. In my values now, it's pre-filled in. So I know this is title, point 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 4, part 4, part 5. So again, I have one template here, which is basically just, the same colors you might have seen in my CreatorMate template. It's just like a yellow color. And then there would be, some writing here, some writing, my face is in the way again, some writing here, and then it writes all the way down. And then I also have another template. Again, horrible to look at visually speaking. You really got to use your imagination, and imagine you spent more than 20 seconds making a template. But it's the same kind of thing. I just have like a little box. I have the title somewhere here. The title must be at the back. Hang on. So order, center back. And then, here's the title. So I'll just make this color black so we can see it properly. Oops. Yeah, so here's the title. And then I have point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5. So what this does is it just will take the information generated from ChatGPT and replace these squiggly bracket values with what GPT has created. So that is what it has done here, as we see. It's created a presentation. Also important in these modules is to mark it as shared yes. So in the advanced settings, I want this to be a shareable. I want to be able to access this regardless. So I marked it as shared. So it creates the Google template. It's given me here the output bundle of the presentation ID. And then simply it goes into another module to download the file. So within Google Drive, basically I've entered file ID. I manually map it to the presentation ID from the previous module. And then in advanced settings, I've done convert Google Slides format to PDF. So then that gives me a whole bunch of information. If I take all of this, the one that interests me is the export links. So here you have application PDF and a link. So if I Control C this and then Control V it here, it should download. Yep. And then I can open it up. And again, it won't look very good because I didn't spend a lot of time improving this, but it's overlaid the information I have from ChatGPT into a horribly designed template. So again, if I was doing this seriously, I would come into this template here, for example, and on the sheets, shrink text on overflow. Yes, I would say, all right, this is the font of it. I would add in extra commands in the ChatGPT for like word count. I would say here, keep all messages under 15 words or something like that. Doesn't matter. This is just an example of the process, not the actual finished quality. But that's what happens. So it goes into the format of the carousel. It gets me the export link here in the export links. So then I map that into Airtable and I say, right, here's the name, here's the social media copy, here is the file URL and the file name. So now when I come back into my Airtable here, this is the one that was just generated. So I have this content I can post on LinkedIn. And then to support the content underneath, there will be this carousel. So, and then obviously if it was to happen again, it might use a different carousel. So really quick walkthrough. It's not a particularly complex automation, as you can see, and it's not for everybody, but I think it's really, really useful for people who are just getting started in their career or just getting started running their own side hustle, because a lot of people don't have this deep well of knowledge or a deep well of existing content or case studies or clients they can talk about, things unique to them. And the way I see it, if LinkedIn is more than happy to just spam my feed with AI articles and all of this rubbish, I think it's fair game. Anyone can do the same. So the brilliance of this is we take whatever LinkedIn thinks is a trending topic. We ask ChatGPT then to either turn it into a text post, or on another day, it will randomly create an image post, or on another day, it will randomly create a carousel post. And then my recommendation would be here to run it like every Monday or every Thursday. So this means you're consistently creating at least 2 pieces of content for LinkedIn every week. So then the other days you're free to post your own, personal observations about stuff. This is available in my school community. So I'll upload this video with the JSON. I also have a course there. So make sure you check out my school. It should be in the links, and then also like and subscribe, etc., etc. And if you take anything away, you want to build this, my recommendations would be spend a lot more time working on the prompt, put in negative keywords, tell it a bit more information about yourself, your writing style, the kind of things you want it to say, because otherwise it's going to be very AI-y. The same goes for basically all of the prompts. And then of course, make better templates than I did, because without the templates, it would just look like trash, as we've seen here. With my templates, it still also does look like trash, but that's because I'm not a designer. If you spend half an hour making a couple of templates, you will not regret it. All right, I hope you liked the video. Again, like, subscribe, comment, send me an email, book a meeting in my Calendly, check out my Gumroad, check out my school. Thank you.